Hey everyone, it's April the 7th. I'm Wendy Pope. It is Read Through the Word, and it's a great day to be in the Word. Don't you agree? I hope that each and every day you're starting to feel like, hey, yeah, this is a great day to be in the Word. We have wrapped up our study, our days in the book of Judges. And I told you it was just a different kind of hard. And it's a book that we throw Deuteronomy 29:29 right on top of it the whole time, because there's so many things that we don't understand. And because we have heard that famous verse, whether thou goest, I will go, your God will be my God, your people will be my people, from the book of Ruth, we automatically, at least I do every year, just kind of, oh, good. We're in Ruth. And we kind of take this sigh and this deep breath, and we kind of smile to ourselves. But honestly, this is a hard book as well. It works out really well for Ruth, for Boaz, for Naomi, especially for us, because the lineage of Jesus comes through this text. But right off the bat, in the first little section, we learn that the family of Elimelech is disobedient to God. Well, and we might think, well, gosh, there was a famine there, and they were just going to feed Elimelech. I hope I'm saying that right. Was just going to feed his family. Yeah, he was. I get that. But they left the security of the brethren. They left the security and provision of the promised land, where God said, I'm going to provide for you. He's proven he's going to provide. And they left anyways. They made the decision to leave based on their knowledge, based on their leading. I read this and I thought this was kind of interesting. They had to hike through the desolate Jericho pass, through the Judean wilderness near the Dead Sea, going across the Jordan River into the land of Moab. This was a departure from the promised land of Israel and a return toward the wilderness, which was far from the place that God had for them and had just delivered them from. Clearly, they're going in the wrong direction. And I loved this quote by Wiersbe. He says, better to be hungry in the will of God than to have a full stomach and be out of his will. Wow, really? Is it really better to be hungry? We're flesh. We need food. We need nourishment. But he is saying, Wiersbe is saying, you know what? Be hungry in the will of God. At least you're in the will of God. I love the ESV version of our key verse today, primarily because it uses that word sojourn. And it's kind of a fancy word. Sometimes I feel a little smart when I use fancy words. And I like the poetic sound of it. So I decided I'm going to include this verse and I'm going to look up the word sojourn. What is that? What exactly did they do that was so wrong? Well, number one, they did leave the bosom of God's provision. But look at this word sojourn. It's a temporary stay. It's the travel with the intent to return. So they left Israel. They left their safe place. They intended to come back. They had to know that they were going in the wrong direction. don't we know? Really? Don't we really know down inside when we're going away from God? We do. We know when we're going away from God. But they went on their own understanding. They trusted their own understanding. Of course, they followed their father and ended up in this place that was far from home and far from their refuge, but they didn't intend to stay. Okay, they left. They didn't intend to stay. But here's what we need to know when we decide to sojourn or off-road, if it were, from the path and the perfect plan that God has for us. Number one, let me just say this. Sometimes God's perfect plan includes a wilderness. And sometimes that discipline is a wilderness. And he had proven himself faithful to take care of them in the wilderness. But they were only going to stay for a little while. We often stay longer than we intended to stay when we decide to sojourn on our own. And when I say on our own, I'm going to be real careful because God was watching after them. He did know what was going on. But they went out from underneath that protection. And sometimes we end up staying longer than we intended to stay. And we become involved in things that we wouldn't have ever become involved in. And that was the reason God made the law in the first place, is to, you've got your tribes, you stay within your tribes, you don't intermarry. When you go over to this place, you wipe them out. They were leaving all of that to go to the insecurity of a place that had food. In these short stays, guys, we are can cause us to compromise. And these compromises can cost us more than we can ever imagine. These boys married Moabite women, and this mother and this wife lost her sons and her husband. Now, she gained a daughter-in-law, well, two daughter-in-laws. One stayed with her and one stayed back. But we have to evaluate the cost of sojourning away from God. God seems to be inactive right now. God seems to not be moving right now. God's quiet right now. He's not really doing anything, or I see he's really working on that situation. So I'm going to go take care of things the way I see it. Really? Before you pack that backpack and throw it over your shoulder, count the cost. And if you can't clearly see this is the path God wants me to go on, stay in the same place, even if it's a place of wilderness. Stay there. Wendy, I don't know how to know whether or not it's God's will or not. Then I definitely wouldn't be moving. And I would be staying with God. I would be praying to God. I would be reading His Word. I would be asking people to intercede for me. Hey guys, I've got this huge decision to make, and I really need your prayers. You don't have to tell people the details. Your real friends, the true friends that are walking in faith and rightness and upright with God, they're going to just pray for you regardless. And God will answer prayer. He will answer prayer. The big lesson for us here is this. Life can be unpredictable and it can be difficult. And it's extremely important that we stay under the protection and provision of the Lord. The wilderness, the famine, It's safer than the enemy territory because we're under God's provision and protection. God has a perfect plan for all of his children. And this plan does include difficulty and unpredictability. We've seen that throughout the Old Testament thus far. But it also includes faithful love, protection, provision, and joy. Joy. You can have joy in a famine. You can have joy in a wilderness. Oh, yes, you can. You can have joy in a hard time. Yes, you can. You can. So my suggestion here is if you feel like you're off-roading a little bit, find your way back. How do you do that? God, I'm off-road here a little bit. I've paid a price since I've left, but I need to come back. I want to come back. Show me how. I'm going to keep praying. I'm going to keep talking to you. I'm going to keep reading the word. And I know that you will lead me back. Show me clearly the way to come home. That's how you come back. It's that simple. It really is. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.